So we're going to talk about fractional exponents. If you look in your packet on the fractional exponent page, you'll see up at the top there are two boxes. And when we look at that, a fractional exponent, we notice that the numerator represents the power, the denominator represents the root. Take a minute, look that over, maybe turn me off, turn me back on, and then I'll go through the rest of this with you. All right, so if you look at number 1 in your packet, you're going to be taking notes in your packet as I go through this. So if you have 16 to the 1/4 power, basically what happens is we're going to write the number 16, and we're going to do power over root. So the root is the bottom number right here. So we're going to put that, my stylus does not want to work with me today. There we go. And then our power will be our numerator. So there we go, power over root. Okay, so then what we start by doing is taking the 4th root of 16, which will be 2, and then we raise it, in this case, to the first power, which obviously is just 2. And then that would be our answer. So let's look at number 2. And again, you're putting these notes in your packet. So now we have negative 125. So negative 125 is what's going to go under the root. Now remember, the denominator, right here, is your root. So we are doing a cube root this time. And then the numerator of the fraction will be your power, which in this case is still a 1. It won't always be, but it is for now. Okay, so then we take the cube root of 125, which we know is 5. And then we raise that to the first power. And so the answer is 5. Okay, if you look down at number 3 in your packet, the 100 is being raised to the negative 1/2 power. Now notice that we now have introduced a negative. When we have a negative exponent, all that's going to do is, instead of doing power over root, which we're still going to do, to get rid of the negative fraction, and we have talked about this, if you remember from yesterday, is we're going to just put it over 1. So 100 will still go underneath the root. This will be a square root. Now, we don't really have to put that 2 there, because remember, if there is no index number there, we do understand it always to be a square root, but we'll put it there anyway. And our power is going to be 1. So again, just to repeat, if we want to get rid of a negative exponent, we simply just flip it, the base, and we make it a fraction. So then we have 1 over the square root of 100, which is 10. And then 10 to the first power is obviously 10. And there's your answer. Okay, let's go to number 4. Number 4 is 64 to the 3/2. Okay, so we have no negative exponent here, so we don't need to do any flipping. So we're going to put 64 right under there. And we're going to do power over root again. So our root is 2. And our power is 3. So we take the square root of 64, which we know is 8. And now we have one that's a little bit different. It just requires us to do a tad bit more work because we have a power that's not a 1. So now we're just going to do 8 to the 3rd power, and we get 512. It's that easy. So the last one we're going to look at is number 10. So if you want to turn the page of your packet, and I want to look at that one because we have quite a bit to do with this one. If you go back and you look in your notes at number 3 that we just did, remember when we had a negative exponent, we would take that base and we would put it over 1 because that 10 was a whole number. Now in this case we have a fraction, 8 over 27, with a negative exponent. So when that happens, it's pretty easy just to get rid of the negative exponent. So if we took 10, which was technically 10 over 1, and we made that 1 over 10, really what we did was we took the reciprocal of 10. So we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to take that 27 and put it over 8. So we take the reciprocal of the fraction, and then what that does is that just now makes our exponent positive. Okay, so when we have a base that's to a negative exponent, all we need to do is take the reciprocal of it, and we get rid of the negative exponent. And now we just kind of carry on like we always have. Don't worry about the fraction. It's not that big of a deal. So we do the power over root. So our root is going to be a 3, and our power is going to be a 2. Now, I understand it's a fraction, not a big deal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the cube root of 27, which we know is 3, and the cube root of 8, which we know is 2. So you just do each part separately, the numerator first, then the denominator after that. And then we have to square that, and we do the same thing that we did when we took the cube root. One piece at a time, numerator first, denominator second. So now we're going to do 3 squared, which is 9, and then we're going to do 2 squared, which is 4, and there's your answer.